So let me ask you something. As a business grows and numbers get bigger, the decisions get heavier, and the margin for error gets smaller. So here's a real question. How do you build the financial systems that just don't track the past, but actually help you make better decisions moving forward? And at what point does technology stop being a kind of nice to have and start becoming essential to scaling properly? That's coming up next on the DORE Podcast. So welcome back to another episode of the DORE Podcast, where we talk to industry leaders, innovators, local experts shaping Ottawa's real estate and business landscape. I'm your host, Dan Dore, and today we've got a fantastic guest that I know we're going to have fun with.
Thanks, Dan.
I'm sitting down with Todd Muise from the Bookkeeping Bureau, the CEO of the Bookkeeping Bureau, a firm that's focused on modern bookkeeping, cloud accounting, and helping businesses gain clarity and confidence in their financials. So Todd, welcome to the DORE Podcast.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you. Here. I knew this was going to be a fun chat, so...
I think so.
We do this without the podcast.
Many times.
Now we're just making it official.
Let's do it.
So Todd, take us back to the beginning. I know, you kind of, you always, tongue-in-cheek, you say, I'm not a bookkeeper, but obviously there's a passion in what you do. So bring us back to the beginning of how you got involved with the Bookkeeping Bureau.
Thank you. That's a good question. I've always been a serial entrepreneur. I love business. I love the transaction of business. I often think to myself, if I was selling a service, would I take my own money out of my pocket and purchase or engage that service, and it would have value to me? And when I find other businesses that create that interaction and I think the value proposition is there, I get very excited. So helping other people have a business that works in that way, or having my own business that works in that way, has always been really interesting and invigorating. I've always been an emotional and touchy-feely person. I think feeling is important. I think that's where we get our energy. That's where we get our vibes from. But I also have to couple that with financial data and ensuring that my feelings is matching the performance that I intend. And importantly, that I'm getting the return on my investment, both in my time and in my finances. Mm-hmm.
So, and this led you, because obviously the Bookkeeping Bureau, you allude to the fact before the podcast, you've been with the Bookkeeping Bureau for 9 years. You have a history in business before, and it led you to the Bookkeeping Bureau. And obviously there's been a lot of changes since the 9 years, because you and I both have been in business for more than 9 years.
Yep, a long time.
So you were in business, in other businesses in the past. You don't have to go into details, but they all had an accounting aspect to it.
Yep.
And I guess it's relationships more so that brought you to the Bookkeeping Bureau?
Yeah, relationships and also, I wanted to find a way to make financial reporting, to make the actual backbone of looking at numbers and understanding the performance of a business as easy as possible. I thought that we were often, encumbered by tracking pieces of paper, answering questions to accountants, putting information together, and I thought there should be an easier way for that just to flow naturally, so that we could focus on the parts of our business where that really need us.
Yep.
And then hopefully find other professionals that could assist and support us in bookkeeping, financial reporting. I was doing a lot of it myself back then because I didn't really understand the process and I wanted control. I know that you've confessed that to me in the past as well, and I'm happy that you broke through.
Yeah.
But when you can really learn to trust and find those processes and find those systems that can support you and free you up, I think that's really invigorating.
Yeah, because I think for the most part, when you look at entrepreneurs, people who start businesses, accounting is typically not the one thing they like to do. They typically will do the work, they'll meet the clients, they'll actually do the physical things, but the accounting, my experience has been for many people, it's kind of not the priority. It's not what they enjoy doing. And I've expressed to you, for me, I actually enjoy doing this.
Yes.
but I can see the service when you got in. I'm assuming through the years of experience that you got in other businesses that you saw that there's a need to have somebody that pays attention to the bookkeeping, even though they're not necessarily attached to the business.
You got it. You know, and it takes a leap of faith for the business owner.
Yeah.
Right. That's a big part. We try to remember that when we get new clients into our firm, we try to remember that we're building trust, we're building a relationship, and we're providing services. Right. Look, even though we do accounting and bookkeeping, I think we're in the service industry. That's truly what we do. Is we serve people. And we serve them with accounting and bookkeeping services. You know? There's a great quote on our website. The very opening line is, "We're a laid-back team of professionals trying to solve a hard problem." Okay. And we say that, you know...
Hang on a second. A laid-back team of professionals trying to solve a hard problem.
Yeah. Bookkeeping is a common struggle for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And we're determined to change that.
Okay.
The Bookkeeping Bureau, and you know... You've been around a long time with us already. I feel you're getting close to our firm. We have a nickname, BKB.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what our internal clients and our legacy clients call us. So from now on, if you're willing to call us BKB, we'd be happy to have you use that name.
Yeah.
We have forward-thinking team members. We have great technology. We have awesome processes, and we're hoping to use that to take that struggle out of the hands of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, no, and I've seen the effort and the leverage firsthand. So yeah, but I didn't always. So
no, and you know what? I still think there's an opportunity for you to let go more.
Yeah. We'll see.
And that's a work in progress.
We'll see.
It's a work in progress.
So the BKB, Bookkeeping Bureau, emphasizes modern bookkeeping and cloud accounting. Obviously, I think in today's world, the old days of manual anything, or even having something on your computer is almost gone, I would suspect. So how has moving away from those traditional systems changed the way business owners understand and manage their finances? I thought I already know this from a personal aspect, but from a client's perspective, like that's a big change. From people doing things directly on your computer now to being essentially live, being able to operate from anywhere, and having data at your fingertips. How have you seen your clients benefit from those initiatives? Because you facilitate that.
100%.
Yeah.
It always bothered me, both as the business owner, consultant, and working as a chief operating officer in an accounting firm, that business people were looking at reports and data that were 6 months old, 9 months old, 12 months old. And when we start looking at what I call post-mortem accounting, we feel that that's meaningless. We feel like that's pure tax and compliance. But if somebody's looking at data that's 6 months old and thinks they're going to make intelligent business decisions moving forward, they're wrong.
Yeah.
We like to think that the modern tools in cloud accounting can help us migrate our focus from hindsight, which is the past, to insight, which is the future, or insight, which is the present, and then hopefully to foresight, which is the future. And when we choose our focus forward and we start predicting, then we can make really intelligent business decisions that will drive us forward.
And you can course correct.
You can course correct
with data that is accurate. Yeah. Because I mean, obviously, if you're looking at data that's 6 months old, then you try to course correct now, then you're late.
Look, hindsight. Working in the past, looking at reports that tell us how we did, is where most businesses using traditional accounting tools, traditional accounting methods, paper, what I call drop-off accounting workflows, which is, here's the last 6 months of data. When you've got this organized and into a report, call me, right? And I don't think that's a meaningful way to run a business. So we try to really move away from hindsight and into insight. So most of our clients, I would say, are living in the insight part of our business. And we look at reports that tell us how we're performing today. We look at delivering reports to our clients within 21 days of month end. And that timelines is really impactful. We love the aha moment when we sit down with our clients for the first time and deliver that first report to them, and they go, wow, I've never seen data like that before. Look, it's hard to drive fast when you're always looking in the rearview mirror.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
and again, it's hard to stay on course when you're always looking in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
We need to look up and we need to look forward as business owners, and having data that allows us to do that is really powerful and impactful.
And I think one of the things you alluded to in one of our first meetings a while back as well was the concept of budgeting versus forecasting, and how budgeting is static and for the most part,
Correct.
And it's based on history and so on. Where forecasting is you're really taking the history and trying to forecast where things are going to, so you can course correct.
Yeah.
And I thought that was I've never been. I mean, in my active operations, I've never been huge on budgeting. For me, it was always, I don't know, it's reactionary, but based on what was happening, I always thought like budgeting was restrictive in some cases, because if there's an opportunity and we didn't have it in the budget, I'd still do it anyways.
Correct.
Because of, we saw an opportunity. So I always found that the forecasting mentality as opposed to budgeting was always interesting. And you can only do that when you have accurate data that's being fed in order to do so.
You have to trust
Right.
the data,
Yeah.
right? You have to invest in the systems.
Yeah.
Forecasting is really interesting. Variance reporting, also really important. When you start to look at forecasting, and then when you get there, you need to sort of pop your head up and say, did I meet these goals? Why was I off? What worked, what didn't? And analyze that, and then make those course corrections moving forward.
That's right. That's right.
So I think I find that really interesting and impactful. In terms of the tools, the modern cloud accounting tools that allow us to progress from hindsight to insight to foresight. I mean, QuickBooks Online, the ability to connect bank feeds.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, because at the BKB, you guys, it's all QuickBooks Online.
Yeah, we made a concerted effort
Yeah.
to choose what we felt was the top in class product and build a very close relationship with Intuit. Let them know that we're using only their products, and partner with them so that we get early access, good training, excellent support, and that our team feels that they're using the best in class products. Right?
Okay.
It's hard to build a good house with crappy tools.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair, because it's the yeah. Somebody listening to this obviously would understand. QuickBooks, I think, is well renowned, anyways. But that's your tool.
That's
the
our tool
that you use, and
Yep.
you use systems to really facilitate that.
We call that the hub of our wheel.
Okay.
Right? And then we use, as you know,
Yep.
many other applications that wrap around QuickBooks,
Yep.
depending on the industry, the size of the business, the needs of the owner. We use a lot of great document management software that allows us to be paperless. It allows the
Because
business.
you guys, it's all paperless. I'm assuming
We are
you're not
100% paperless.
Yeah.
We do not have a filing cabinet. The only thing that we have is a stack of minute books from back in the 80s that were never digitized.
Yes,
But
yes.
we have 3 scanners, huge scanners, and we're completely paperless. It also allows us to work remotely in any cloud environment and have full access to all of our documents, tools, and information.
And I mean, this is my paranoid side asking this question. But if there's no paper and everything is digitized, what happens if that system is compromised or hacked or whichever?
That's a great question, right? So we use redundancy, right? We do backups, we do downloads.
Okay.
A great example.
Different than what QuickBooks does?
Different than what QuickBooks does.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
To make sure that we have redundant data put in. Yeah, we do that in the back end.
Okay.
Also for source documents, I mean, we use document management platform that will host the document and store it in its own repository, which is bank level encryption, more than 3 databases in the world. And then that connects to QuickBooks, and that source document is also attached to the journal entry in QuickBooks. So you have a redundancy of source documents. So, we're always thinking about data and being safe. It's a big part of what we do. It's also why we rely on A-class application partners. I love the adoption of early technology, but I'm always looking to make sure that the security and the robust systems are in place, both for the security of my firm and, just as importantly, the security of your business.
Yeah, no, and I think it's important, because I mean, obviously, when it comes to accounting, I was just telling you about it. An audit we had a very short, a short while ago, and how pulling the data from boxes and storage and so on, it was, that was like, for us, that was several years ago.
Yeah, For several years,
and we thought we were advanced.
I had a sign on my office that you would like that said, "Data flow, never data entry."
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
and the mindset was always look for ways to bulk import data. Look for ways to connect apps and bring data through. We should never be keying in transactions anymore. That's work in the past, right? We manipulate data, import data, review it, and then test it to make sure it's accurate. That's the changing role of an accountant.
Yeah. You know, and it's ever changing, because with all the technology that's happening in AI, like I was just saying, that just the processing of bills now that are going in that are digitized and go through an approval process without having to open up an envelope or an email or whichever is quite fascinating to see it happening live. And go through a suggested posting and it renders, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, I love to tell the story of what I think is a beautiful accounting workflow, which starts with the photo capture. Let's say that you go for a nice meal, and you know, or parking. You pull out your smartphone, you grab your receipt, you take a picture, you throw it out.
Yeah.
Our team then receives that. There is optical character recognition that reads that receipt. It pre-populates the journal entry. Our team reviews the journal entry, hits a green button. That is sent into QuickBooks Online. It attaches a PDF copy of that into QuickBooks Online. So now it's CRA compliant.
Yeah.
If that was
CRA compliant,
right?
Okay.
Because we now have a source document and a journal entry connected to each other.
So what? You just clarify for me. What do you mean by CRA? I know it's Canada Revenue Agency, but what do you mean by what do you mean by CRA compliant?
So
what is that?
we are always trying to preempt audits.
Yes.
So if we are called to provide information to CRA for an audit, that should be readily at our fingertips, should not take time, should not create an extra burden on you. The letter should not go to you, Dan, and you should not be in
I should not see you in QuickBooks. Because that's what Dan does.
We should be able, within 5 minutes, to go in, pull the top 5 invoices, download the source documents, make a quick thing in Excel, and have that off to CRA quickly. And that represents your business really well.
Yes.
And that brings down the anxiety level. The confidence of the CRA agent is there because we've responded quickly with all the information they want. So we're always building workflows that allow us to remain CRA compliant, right?
So even if you're not doing that, doesn't mean you're not compliant. You're just not efficient.
You're not efficient, or you're not thinking ahead to be ready.
Right.
Right. Or building a workflow that allows it to be audit ready.
Sure.
Right. And so that really serves that piece. Right.
Yeah, and when they happen, it's always in the most opportune time where you're busy, you're doing other things, and it's like, oh, you know,
audits do not come at the best time. That's not how they work, right? Yeah. The other, and then going back to the accounting workflow, when we've got that transaction in QuickBooks and we want to pay it, we can export that transaction into a third-party app that we call Pluto.
Okay.
And Pluto is electronic funds delivery.
Yeah.
So in Pluto...
So that's payments.
That's payments.
Right.
So my team would go into your accounts payable ledger in QuickBooks, decide which payments should be pre-populated.
Yeah, because it has to have, I guess, all the banking info. Because they're transfers, right?
They're transfers.
Yeah, they're not checks.
Nope.
Yeah.
An email would be sent to you to say, here's the payments we'd like to make. There's a green button and a red button. You press the green button, you say, I'd like to make the payment. The payment is made. If you're unsure of what the payment is, and I know you like to double check, you're an excellent business person. Yeah. You hit the source document, and it will show the photo that came from your smartphone into QuickBooks, into Pluto.
And I'll go even further, because the experience with this has been interesting as we've navigated this. Whereas it was as simple as, and this happened to me, where I submit a receipt. And then an hour later, I'm like, I don't remember if I submitted this. So I submit it again, but the system recognizes it's duplicate.
The duplicate.
Or I've seen vendor invoices being submitted for different things, but for whatever reason, they were using the same invoice number. So it flags it as saying, well, they're not the same, but they're similar because they're using the same invoice number.
Yeah, please look at me is what they're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, in the back end, we talk about the big world of AI and how scary it is and how it's taking over, but that's a great example, right?
Yeah.
That's limits and rules and a little bit of machine learning and thinking that's kicking back. information for you.
Even with one of the other things that we're saying with that technology is as receipts were being sent in, it actually recognizes which credit card it was being used.
Correct. Yeah.
So you could see exactly which credit card it was used, and so it flags it as a credit card payment. So it won't go into payables because it recognizes it's going to be on a statement. So it's quite fascinating to see it live.
Well, when you make that payment, when you approve the payment,
Yeah.
Pluto then sends the information back into QuickBooks and says a payment for this invoice was made that day.
Yeah.
The bank is connected to QuickBooks, so we've got an automated feed. And at the end of the month, QuickBooks auto matches the payment, the journal entry, and the entry in QuickBooks, and reconciles.
Yeah.
So you've got just the most beautiful cloud accounting workflow from photo capture to payment. As a business owner, you have full visibility into the process. It's clear to you. It's transparent, and it's happening all in real time. I don't want to call it automated because we review, but it's as automated as it can be with that double check of a human with experience using their judgment and looking at your entry.
Right. Yeah. No. And it's and I have to admit that having the ability to see live what those actual invoices or suggestions postings are is amazing because you can make decisions very quickly, and if it recognizes something that's off, you can make a decision very quickly, such as the one is like, oh, it's the same invoice number, but it's clearly 2 different periods or 2 different services, but whoever they don't have an accounting system, so they're doing it manually on an Excel spreadsheet, whichever. And next thing you know, our system's recognizing that the invoice number is the same,
right?
Even though it was reject it, get me a new invoice number, and so it's been fascinating to see because I'm not sure that would have been caught just from a human, but from before.
No,
right?
No, that's the benefit of large data and the machine working in there as well, right?
Yeah.
The other benefit is that through using these systems, we're standardizing your chart of accounts, and we're forcing these expenses to put in the right buckets.
Right.
And then that at the back end creates the reporting that you're looking for.
Yeah.
We can only do strong reporting if we have strong data.
Of course.
So by using these tools and creating that structure, it's seamless to you because it's happening in the background. But for us, it's one more way to make sure that data is getting put into the correct places, and that we're building out the information we need to give you the reports that you'd like to see.
Yeah, because garbage in, garbage out, right?
Garbage in, garbage out.
If you don't have the right information or it comes in incorrectly, but I have to say, I'm using these tools through your firm, and I've been pleasantly surprised because there's. I love accounting, and this is to me was like how's this going to work and so on. But no, I've been pleasantly surprised to see the checks and balances and how it actually finds the issues, and it flags the issues, so you can see whether it's a duplicate entry or something that seems off with invoices that have been submitted in the past, and have the ability to have multiple people send in their invoices, so they're not all coming to one inbox that's being sorted. Like it's really
and in the back end, there's an audit trail for everything.
Yeah.
Who sent it, when, from where. So the amount of insight and transparency is really strong, and it's a big reason why we've adopted these tools, both for our clients, and we use them in our own firm. Yeah. Right. So we walk the walk.
Yeah. No. It's I've been to your office many times, and I didn't see a filing cabinet. So I can
you can attest.
I've witnessed that.
You've witnessed
there's no filing cabinet. Even I'm like, where do they keep all the files?
No filing cabinets.
So FinTech and automation are becoming very common in accounting. How do you decide which tools that genuinely add value versus the one that just add noise? When you evaluate, because you said at the beginning that you'll look at new technology, but you also want the safety aspect. But there is such a thing as having new technology that is cool, but it really brings no value or no output. Like, how do you evaluate, saying we're going to add this technology or not?
Yeah, well, thankfully, I have a team of accountants around me because I can be very easily enticed by shiny things.
Sure.
Right? So I'm the one who does most of the initial discovery and research because we are so closely connected with Intuit. And they, many years ago, named our firm as a firm of the future, which is a very prestigious title. Intuit named our firm a firm of the future.
Nice.
They only do a few firms every year. And as a result, that has allowed us to interact with their development team, their tech team, and their senior team in Canada. We're always looking at not only is what QuickBooks working on, but what are their app partners working on?
Because the other tools you were saying earlier, they're not Intuit tools.
They're not Intuit tools.
They're compatible with Intuit.
They're compatible via what we call APIs, application programming interfaces, which is how two web-based programs talk to each other. Intuit provides access to these third-party tools that they vet, and then we, via our relationship with Intuit, have an inside perspective on what new tools are coming, how they're being used, what the functionality it is. So we often use that as our jumping off point. In addition to, we attend accounting conferences, we attend workshops, we get out into our community to learn and see what other firms are using. We test, break it, test some more.
When you say we, you mean BKB or
BKB,
Intuit? Okay.
Our firm. Yep.
So you'll test it.
Yep. We will sometimes run two databases at the same time. We will sometimes run two payment platforms at the same time and then do comparisons to see how it works. Even with QuickBooks, I will admit, we look at Xero, we look at Sage, we pay attention to the competitors to make sure we know what's happening there in the marketplace. Yeah.
No, and I mean, and bookkeeping, it's only, so if somebody comes in and has another type of software, I'm assuming that's not the client avatar for you, right?
No, we try not, no, we don't get sold much one-off software.
No.
We're really looking at enterprise, tried and tested software.
Yeah. With the expertise, because the team. Yeah.
Of course, right? The other thing that you might find interesting, because I know you're a really good people person and a manager, is that the software decisions at my firm are committee made.
Okay.
Not by management.
Committee made.
So I will identify what software I think.
So you come in and say, this may be interesting. Explain that to me. What does that mean?
So I have a committee of 6 people that have been voted.
In your firm?
In my firm, voted by the staff that represent the team, and they make the final decisions on which products that we choose. And it's not cost-based, it's functionality, it's efficiency, it's workflow. And they choose those products, and then we adopt.
Okay.
And that has gone a long way into creating ownership over our tech stack.
Yes.
Because they really feel that they have a voice.
That makes
and at
sense.
the end of the day, Dan, they use these tools a lot more than I do.
Of course.
So they should have a voice in choosing the tools that we want to use.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Almost seems like you have experience with people.
I do. Yeah. Look, I adore people.
Yeah,
I adore people.
I know that.
Yes.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's a very I mean, kidding aside, because new technology is not always welcome by everybody, because the end user is like, well, what is this exactly going to do? And obviously, if it's more efficient and it makes their job better, it's more efficient, more accurate,
of course,
whatever advantage, then it's a benefit. But so I find it interesting that it's committee based.
Yeah, it's we have a very interesting decision-making matrix at our firm. It goes like this. If we have an important decision to make, we consider our employees first. They drive the business. They do the work. They're the superstars. We consider our suppliers second. Without strong, invested suppliers supporting my team, they can't do their work. If they aren't getting the answers to their problems from their suppliers, maybe the transactions aren't flowing. So employees, suppliers, you're third, Dan.
Yeah.
Customers
number third.
Okay, third.
But I feel a bit more privileged because you haven't mentioned you yet, so I'm ahead of you.
Stakeholders are fourth.
Okay.
Because I believe if we keep making the right decisions for our employees, if we empower them, train them, enable them, they are going to make the right decisions. They are going to drive the business. If the suppliers support them and they feel supported by the suppliers, they will take ownership over the teams, and that will result in the services that you feel. Right? So we use that decision-making process, and so when I start thinking about new tools and applications, it only makes sense I would ask my employees first.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, they're the ones that are using it. And I mean, because I can see, the shiny object, syndrome that I think we kind of both share.
Of course.
Whereas you look at it, but then you have to look at what is this exactly going to do, right? Yep. Is it just displacing work, or is it actually making it better?
Yeah. Did you change 6 for a half dozen?
That's the issue. Oh, it's much nicer. Yeah, but
But.
what, did we really advance the? Yeah, no, I get it. So, yeah, no, that's yeah, and I mean, as companies grow, I mean, the financial complexity grows with them. What do you like? What are the most common bookkeeping or accounting challenges you see when businesses are scaling? Is like, what are the bottlenecks? Is it the guy? Is it the technology? Is it a combination of both? Like from an accounting perspective, as businesses scale, is it a software that can't keep up? Is it dated practices? Is it the bottleneck management? Is it?
I think there's two parts to that answer.
Yeah.
So the first part is we are careful to qualify our clients before they arrive at the Bookkeeping Bureau.
Okay.
Okay. So I won't hire a client that cannot fill out an online PDF form. I will not hire a client that's not willing to go paperless. I will not take a client that isn't going to be able to read reports online or understand the cloud.
Okay.
So in order to really benefit from our value proposition and the style of our work and our tools, you need to be tech savvy, you need to be invested, you need to be willing to adopt. If you're not there, but you say you want to get there, we'll get you there. If you're already there, you're a great fit. But if I send you the PDF and you print it out and you fill it out in pencil and you drop it off the next day, you're not getting a second meeting.
I think I may have done that.
Okay. So that's the first step. My clients already should have that mindset.
Yeah.
So that's one road bump out of the way.
Yeah.
The real problem is that as businesses scale and grow, they grow too fast. And then their focus goes away from financial administration. Their focus goes away from bookkeeping and accounting, and it gets put on sales, customer acquisition, hiring more people, and all those things that are readily in front of you. And bookkeeping becomes second fiddle. And it's really important that we keep bringing that reporting back into the forefront. We have to bring that discipline back into the forefront so that they know how their growth is really performing. It's very easy to get caught up bringing in customers, selling new shiny things, feeling busy, but are you really getting a return on that time and investment? Without financial reporting, you don't know. You're running blind, right? And so part of our role as bookkeeping and accountants is sometimes to be your personal trainer, right? I commend you. You already understood the importance of good books and bookkeeping. You had your focus in it most of the time. Many of our clients, they know what they're supposed to do. They know they're supposed to be doing push-ups. They know they're supposed to be drinking water. They know they're supposed to be working out and eating healthy. But sometimes they hire a personal trainer to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
To make sure they're doing it right. To make sure they're doing it 3 times a week. To help them achieve their goals. Sometimes we have to see that as our role, right? You know you're supposed to be sending us the data. We have to sometimes pull your shirt sleeve and say, hey, don't forget about us, right?
Yep.
Or look, you just spent all this money building clients or taking things on. Maybe you should also be investing in your administrator or bringing on another team member to make sure that your financial reporting doesn't lapse. And we're not afraid to have that really direct conversation with you. We owe it to you because we believe so much in the power of data and reporting.
Yeah.
That we will impel you to continue to do that. But that's one of the challenges we see as businesses grows is that the focus can be distracted by growth in revenue, but it shouldn't be, because if you're not hitting the right numbers or not maintaining your margins, you could be doing a lot of extra work for no extra.
Yeah, no, I've been there, done that. I think
we all have. That's one of the hard lessons, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah, where you're like, we're growing, but I'm not making any more money. So what am I doing here? Right. So no, it's interesting because that in my personal opinion, that it seems to go beyond the scope of simply bookkeeping, right?
It sure does.
We talk about bookkeeping, but I mean, the offering that you're talking about is there's a consultancy aspect to it for the most part that kind of comes with it to try to nudge you into making those decisions or at least be alerted to certain issues that you may or may not see coming, either because the data has been populated or somebody's not reading the data, and being able to report back and say, here are the issues, and that to me it's an extension of simply bookkeeping, because you're facilitating the comprehension for small business owners.
It feels like an extension, but I think a lot of firms miss it.
Okay.
I'm glad it's only me and you today, and nobody's listening in.
Yeah.
Because just like I allowed you to start calling us BKB.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you asked me to call you.
Well,
BKB.
I think, and you should be calling us BKB.
Okay. That's what you've been writing in the email. So
the
I've
whole
just been
world
using it.
doesn't know that we do advisory and consulting.
That's right.
We don't advertise it. It's not something we want to publicize.
Sure.
We want to be known as bookkeepers.
Okay.
Why? Because that's where the data starts.
Sure.
I cannot do good consulting, advisory, virtual CFO services, forecast, projections, good corporate tax work if I don't have clean books. So we always bring businesses into our firm with a bookkeeping mandate. And then from that safe place, from the data that we now control, that we start to build and trust, we can then confidently and safely start to offer you advisory services,
Sure.
virtual CFO services, consulting services. But I don't want to pretend that we've got a sign out there saying hire us as consultants.
No, fair enough.
Because we do our consulting in great books. Okay?
Sure.
So it's the quality of our bookkeeping that really makes us successful.
Fair. Okay.
Right? But it's a natural jump off, and you know what? It's flattering to me that you recognize that.
Yeah.
Right?
No, but I mean, listen, I love accounting. So for me, it was tough for me to say, like, how do I get somebody else to do this? But I can recognize the value and the leverage, and I mean, obviously, I need to run the businesses. So accounting was great, but when you get other people that you can rely on that do it properly, use the tools, and be able to see the data or question anything at any given time, it brings a great amount of comfort to offload that task. So
it's a nice part of maturing as a professional and realizing that there's other professionals out there, and that if we really lean on them and bring them in to do what they're great at, we actually become better at what we're great at.
No, that's a good point.
Right? And that takes maturity and time to be comfortable like that.
So you're telling me I'm mature?
I think so.
Okay.
I'll reserve that. I'll reserve that for
Some
later.
people around me may not think the same way, but okay.
Play hard, work hard.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, I mean, I wanted to ask you about the culture at Bookkeeping Bureau, but you kind of, it's interesting, in one of a few minutes ago, you alluded to the fact of the decision making.
Yeah.
And that speaks to the culture. Obviously, if somebody's working at the Bookkeeping Bureau, this is the type of culture that you don't get everywhere.
Look,
right?
My staff choose to do what they do.
Yeah.
Okay, they applied for the job.
Yeah.
They love accounting and bookkeeping. We love what we do. We love the impact we make. We love seeing the results in our clients' businesses. That feels fantastic. We acknowledge that, there's numbers, but there's people behind the numbers. There's jobs, there's families, there's inheritances, there's tax planning, there's
emotions.
There's customers, there's emotions. I mean, you have a beautiful business. How many people live in these properties and rely on you, right? These are their homes. And I provide financial data. I help you be successful. You have a team around you. You support them. We try to take that step back and see the role we play in that big picture, right? And even as finance professionals, and even remembering the emotions, knowing their businesses, understanding the struggles, and trying to keep that in mind as we interact with our clients. We still believe that reporting is important. I will never waver than that. Okay, we believe reporting is important, but there's 24 of us there. 25 of them are accountants. I'm the only one not. You could ask any of them individually and they would say, what's the largest multiplier at the Bookkeeping Bureau? What drives us forward the most? And they will tell you, it's not what we do, it's how we do it.
Okay.
And to me, that's corporate culture.
So how, meaning in the culture?
In the culture. How do we deliver it? How do we talk? How are the reports sent? How are we communicating? How do we make our clients feel? Right? And that creates culture. Also, are we proud? Are our standards high? And that's the team that creates that, not ownership, not leadership. They have their own standards.
Yeah.
They have their own pride, right? And that comes out in our business, right?
No.
I spend more time with the people I work with than my own family,
Yeah.
right? So we need to make sure
us,
it's a place that we want to be at, that the values are there, that the intensity, the drive, the dedication is not just one person, that it's a whole team.
No, I think and that's of course, because if it's just one person, then it's tough, right?
It really is.
But
right?
the decision making, waterfall that you have, I find is interesting. Yeah. Especially when it comes to adopting new technology, because as you were alluding to, I mean, you bring new technology, you disrupt everybody. It's you're not necessarily ahead of the game, right?
No, and it's one of the. I had a really touching moment recently where we had a new team member who'd been there for about 7 months. And for whatever reason, during his onboarding process, I was not available that day to sit down. I spent about an hour with each new employee talking about corporate culture, going through our mission, our vision, talking about how we want to serve, and just framing it. And I wasn't available to do that day. And for some reason, my responsibility, it didn't happen. And many months later, I was sitting with him one-on-one in the kitchen, and I was listening to talk about his clients. I was listening to talk about how he approaches work and how he loved working there. And I realized that he had gotten all of those important points of our corporate culture from his colleagues.
Yeah, just from being in the environment.
Not from me. And I knew at that moment, it was bigger than me, that it was truly corporate culture and not just Todd's version of what the culture of the business should be. And that's very rewarding beyond profit or payments or money. That's a good reason to go to work every day, to see something like that happen. Yeah,
and it's fun for everybody else.
It's amazing for everybody else, right? And we do it right, you feel it when you come in our place.
Yeah.
Right? You feel that culture, you feel that pride, that intensity, that wanting to do great work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's great. And one of the questions I always like to ask is, any top voices, that you listen to, whether it's social media or like in accounting. And for you, perhaps there isn't, but there's, how do you stay in the game? Is it just attending Intuit conferences or or just trying to? Because I mean, obviously we're not hiding behind the fact we were chatting about AI just before starting the podcast. I mean, we're in business. We know AI is here. It's going to change. It'll disrupt. It'll advance. I mean, I think it's important to take advantage of what's there, equip our people with the tools so that they can be a lot more efficient. So, how do you stay in the realm in the accounting world to make sure that you're always on the cutting edge?
One of my favorite ways is I have a word that we made up during COVID called coopetition.
Okay.
And coopetition means don't be scared to reach out to your competitors and share.
Okay.
Don't be scared to call the other 5 firms that are in your demographic and size and invite them for lunch and say, here's what I'm thinking about next. Have you guys considered this? Look, the name of your podcast is Everybody Gets Pie?
Yeah, no. We want to grow.
We want to grow the pie. Well, I was expecting pie at the end of this.
Okay, we'll get you some pie.
There's going to be some disappointment.
Oh, you thought you were coming here for pie?
I thought I was coming here for pie.
No. So that was kind of misleading.
I mean, the pie is big.
Yeah.
The city is big. There's a lot of great work. We do not have to fight over each other's pieces. So if you can engage with other business owners doing the same thing that you are, and you can talk about struggles and how you're solving them, you can talk about your worries and do they have the same worries? You can talk about app partners and are they facing the same challenges or are they using something different? And have a safe space to have that conversation. I come out of those meetings sometimes just completely lit up and motivated with all sorts of new initiatives. And that has been really good from a leadership, and the person who has to sort of push ahead and create vision. That's where I get a lot of my inspiration and feelings from. So.
That's awesome. That's a great suggestion. Yeah, I do that all the time too. So
you do.
I do.
That does not surprise me for a second.
Yeah. What I like to do is I like to have lunch or meet people that are 20, 30 years my senior and try to just absorb the experience, the knowledge, maybe not so much with technology, but just how do you deal with problems and challenges, and it's I think it's good. And a lot of times we're in the same industry.
Of course.
I've had lunch last week with a competitor, and trying to get a sense of what, because we all have the same types of challenges, and
competition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, you all have the same edge, and you know what? You don't need to go into those things and come out with like a list of 10 brilliant ideas.
No,
one nugget of gold.
That's right.
That you can bring in,
and sometimes it's mutually beneficial. We can serve clients better. We can.
Of course, we can.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
we're in it together. So that's where I personally find that, and of course I read a lot. I watch webinars, I listen to podcasts, I do those things. There are some great thought leaders in our industry that we pay close attention to. But really working with other accounting firm owners and managers and listening to them and sharing shared challenges and shared experiences is really where I find the most of my motivation and my vision.
That's good. I'm sure they get the benefit too.
They sure do. They sure do, right? Yeah.
So, Todd, this was a fun I knew this was going to be fun, but thank you for coming to join me today and having this conversation. And I think anybody that's in business obviously needs the bookkeeping. They have to do the bookkeeping, whether they do it themselves or internal or from a professional company like yours. So I think anybody that has will get something out of this. So thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. It was really nice being here, and I've really enjoyed getting to know you, serving you, and working together.
But no pie.
No pie.
So for anybody who wants to reach out to you or the Bookkeeping Bureau, the website is bookkeepingbureau.ca.
Correct.
Like book with and K and a K again for bookkeeping.
That's horrible. We had 2 O's, 2 K's, 2 E's.
Yeah. No, that's okay. .ca.
.ca.
And also, is there LinkedIn, or do you have other ways that people can reach out to you?
I do have a profile on LinkedIn, and my contact information is available there.
Okay.
We also have a contact us form on our website, and all of those notes get sent to me directly from my office manager. Look, if anybody out there has a business with unreliable books, messy data, and not receiving financial reporting, and they'd like to talk to me, our first meeting is complimentary. I love discovery calls. You may not be my next client, but you may know somebody that is. So I would encourage them to reach out to me and find out more.
Yeah, and I can speak from personal experience. It's meeting you originally through mutual connection. It's been very very enlightening, and hopefully we do business for a long period of time. So.
I hope that we can roll together, Dan.
That's good. So to all our listeners, thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the DORE Podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications and never miss a new conversation. I'm Dan Dore. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.